Hey there, everybody. I'm Eric Osberg. I'm the Rural Rebound Initiative Coordinator for Ottertail County, and we've got a special conversation for you today. I'm here with Celeste Copy, who is the Rural Initiative Strategist for West Central Initiative, and Ben Shire. He is the mayor of Fergus Falls and involved in many other projects. And Celeste, we're going to start with you. Tell us about, well, let me back up. One of the reasons that I think living in a rural place is so cool is you can have an impact on the community around you. And Celeste, you guys are working on some programs to try to inform, encourage, and foster leadership in rural places. Tell us about the programs that you guys are working on and how folks can get involved.
Absolutely. I'm going to focus first on our Run for Rural weekend training because the deadline for the application is coming up on August 18th. So, our
Okay.
Run for Rural trainings, we are working with Eric Peterson, who's based in the near the Duluth area of Bend the Arc Strategies. And the Run for Rural training is aimed to give participants the practical knowledge to run a community focused, authentic, small town campaign for elected office. So it's all about figuring out if, it's for the folks who already know they want to run for office. It's for the folks who want to support the people willing to stick their necks out. And it's for anyone who's even just curious, right? So, like, how can I retain this information for people in my community? We are going to cover topics like how to do messaging, how to rally people around your ideas and goals, because we know that when it's running for offices in these local elected offices, it's not all about a person, it's about how to improve our small towns. And I know people can be, this is rural Minnesota, right? We're pretty humble, I like to say. So it's not all about a person. It's like we are just working to improve the town, and we can bring everyone together around one office and do co-governance. But getting back to what's actually in that training again, it goes over campaign finance and filing. So, like, say you're ready to do that and step up and run for office, like, where do I even start? Where do I go? What does it look like? All of that practical kind of nuts and bolts one needs to do when they're starting from scratch.
And is there a cost to this training?
There is no cost.
Okay.
It is nonpartisan. It will take place at East Silent Lake Resort. It's the last weekend in September, first weekend in October.
Okay.
Participants, upon selection, can choose which weekend works best for them. So it's not 2 weekends, it's either or.
Sure.
Um, and Ben, what am I missing here?
It's a day and a half, so we're going to start on a Friday afternoon. Stay overnight. Everything's included: lodging, food, all the networking and good fellowship that you're going to get with your cohort. But yeah, it's going to go through Friday, and then you'll be on your way by Friday late afternoon, and you'll have this experience. Any barriers, of course, if there's travel or childcare, anything that would keep someone, we want to make sure that we can address those. So there's no cost to the participants. We want to make sure that anyone who has an interest in participating is able to do that. So we encourage everyone to apply, and we want to work with them to make sure that it works for their schedule.
So Ben, I'll ask you, why do you think is that this is important? Why is this something that you're engaged with?
Yeah, so the Rural Democracy Program, we were talking a little bit off air, Eric, what we live in the best place, one of the best places in the world to live, right? And being for so many different reasons, the natural resources, but the strong communities is a part of that, right? And there's the opportunity to really affect, like you were saying, there's an opportunity where we live to really affect, the communities that we live in, right? But with that opportunity comes some responsibility, because in the rural places, there's a lot of elected positions that need to be filled. And so it's kind of like meeting that opportunity and meeting that responsibility, stepping up. And our communities are better when we're all involved, right? When our communities are better, when the elected officials represent the people that live in our communities. So we want to, give that opportunity, the training. I think sometimes it can be intimidating to people, like, oh, running for elected office. But really, we want to take any of those fears away. And I think it just really boils down to, good government, good communities, just takes good people, right? Like just good people to run. And so we just want to encourage anyone who has the slightest interest in being more active in their local public leadership within their community to apply, because that's what it's going to take to continue, to make our communities as strong as they can be.
Well, and if I can put a personal plug into this event, East Silent Lake Resort is a really nice place. And so it sounds like if I'm willing to step up and learn more about my responsibilities, I get to visit East Silent Lake. So that's East Silent Lake Resort. So that's a nice byproduct. So Celeste, you've got this, you called it the Run for Rural. That's coming up quickly. The deadline is coming up quickly. What are some of the other programs that you guys are working on beyond that one day and a half events that are coming up?
Absolutely. So I'll cover two and then pass it back to Ben for the last one. But we will be launching a 6-month program for folks who are interested in mapping community resources, experiences, interests to increase civic participation and to advocate for their small town to build stronger communities. That's in collaboration with Metro State University. It will be based in our region, but we are partnering with the university for that curriculum. We also have a rural democracy network. So our overall goal is, our belief is good governance is a positive force in people's lives. And this is, Ben has been really great at explaining this as well as Mayor Ben, right? And then he has this tagline of, and I think he's got it figured out, right? We're looking for people that want to build things up and not tear things down. And that's also another, I call it quote from Mayor Ben, right? We want to see people building things up because that's what we need right now. So that's the overall goal of the entire project. So 6-month, early 2024, we'll put details on the website this fall. And then the Rural Democracy Network. So that's organizations, people working within our community. And we want to hold space for those organizations to step into throughout time to really just support strengthening rural democracy. And I'm going to pass it back to Ben for the lead local part.
Yeah, great job explaining that all, Celeste. And the last thing I would just say is we want to just make sure that those who have stepped up and put their name on the line and put their name on the ballot and been elected and are serving in their communities, we're not just trying to train people to take their positions, like my position, right? Like, so we are working with the existing local elected officials in these communities to support them and find out what we can do through this rural democracy project to support the efforts that are underway. So we do have a lead local project. We're getting together with a number of mayors in Otter Tail County later this month, just to support them and again to grow that aspect of it. So this is a comprehensive program to support those who are currently in office, but also those who aspire to be in office and make our community stronger in every way that we can.
Cool. If I'm interested, Celeste, so you've piqued my interest. I want to learn more. How do I sign up? How do I get involved? Who do I call? Where do I go? How do I become a part of this?
Absolutely. So the West Central Initiative website is a good first place there, the Rural Democracy tab. That's also where the application is for the Run for Rural weekend trainings. You can also email or call one of us. And then I'd like to throw in here that two things we're looking at when it comes to representation and democracy and leadership in our area. We know now, we crunched the numbers, and so no offense, guys, but 67% of locally elected offices right now are filled by men. And so we know enough now at this point that we need equal representation. So I have a question for you, Eric, if we can ask you questions. I don't know if that's allowed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So how many times do you think you have to ask a woman to run for office before she signs up?
Ooh, that's a good question. 3.
Now double that.
6.
Now add 1.
7.
So on average, a woman has to be asked 7 times before she actually goes to file to run for office. Okay. And this is the joke I tell. One day I was on the phone with my sister and she's like, I asked my husband to take the trash out 7 times. And
Right.
it's a little bit different because it's not like she was on the phone or, telling her husband, like, you can do this. Don't worry about what people think. You have the skills to take the
Right.
trash out, right? So there are like different dynamics going on here. On the flip side, we know that 10% of our region identifies as BIPOC, 34% of Minnesota children below the age of 9 identify as BIPOC right now, and we need to plan for the future because really, if we're going to hold true to that representation, that's a lens we look at throughout our entire project, how we're planning for diversity. That's coming through and who we're hoping to see in these trainings and how we approach the content. And I'm going to steal one more quote from the welcoming, actually. So we do welcoming work, right?
Yep.
And so in Welcoming Australia, they have this quote that is, diversity is the reality, inclusion is a choice. So we're choosing to include, and that's what we're all about.
Like it. Love it.
Hey,
Ben?
I would just add, if I could, Eric,
Yeah.
going back to something that we talked about a little bit earlier. Obviously, this is a nonpartisan, this is nonpartisan initiative, but it's for a lot of different, offices, right? There's I went back to the great need for elected officials in the area. The 9 counties that West Central serves, there's 410 units of government inside those 9 counties. So anything from Soil and Water Conservation Board to Township Board to county commissioners, city council, school board, mayor, there's all kinds of stuff out there. So if people have, this isn't specific to any, it's nonpartisan. That's where we draw the line. But if people have an interest in serving at any level, or just like Celeste mentioned, just broadening their general understanding of public leadership, we really would encourage them to apply.
All right.
Yeah.
Celeste, anything else you think is important that you want people to know, that people need to know, or just any final words of encouragement that you want to share?
No, nothing comes to mind, honestly. I think you asked great questions, Eric, and we got it all out. But if anyone is looking for more information, don't hesitate. We love to share more about the project. And we got lots of things on the website. So.
All right. And Ben, I'll pose the same question to you. Anything else that you think is important? Anything you think people need to know? Anything you wanted to say that I didn't give you an opportunity to talk about?
No, I just wanted to reiterate what Celeste said earlier. August 18th is the priority deadline. Those applications received by August 18th are going to receive the priority. If there's space left after those are considered, we'll consider them on a rolling basis, but we encourage everyone to get those applications in by August 18th so they can get the priority look.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you for taking your time, and thanks for all of your hard work to make our rural place as great a place as it can be.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.